want to begin this session by giving you what I call the 5 key questions of the human heart. The 5 key questions of the human heart. There are 6.7 billion people on planet Earth right now. About 297,000 are born every day. So on this planet today, we have almost 7 billion people. Now, I guarantee you that every single one of those 6.7 billion people are struggling with the exact same questions. As a matter of fact, these 5 questions motivate every human being. It doesn't matter where they live, their ethnic background, their race, their socioeconomic conditions, or their strata. It doesn't matter. They are all controlled by these 5 questions. These 5 questions control the economy. They control what you wear, what you eat. They control the career you've chosen. These 5 questions are the motivation for your being here even tonight, why you decide to come to this conference. I'm motivated by these 5 questions. These 5 questions are the source of all the crime in your city. These 5 questions are the cause of all the corruption in government, or corruption in the pulpit and churches. These 5 questions are the reason why people get divorced. These 5 questions are the source of all of our youth problems. They are the source of all of our adult problems. These 5 questions explain why a prostitute would sell her body, or a drug addict will peddle dangerous drugs on his own children. These 5 questions are so powerful that they control the entire world. They control the fashion industry, why people want to buy sophisticated fashion. These 5 questions control the economy of the world. All economies are controlled by these 5 questions. These 5 questions are so dangerous that they control everything you do and the way you act. They motivate your behavior. These 5 questions are the questions that actually control the human race. And every single one of you in this auditorium tonight and watching this DVD or wherever you are, I guarantee that these 5 questions are the source of all of your behavior. These 5 questions are the 5 questions that God sent his son to earth to deal with, because these 5 questions are the source of all of man's frustration, his abuse of one another. It's the source of all the wars in the world. These 5 questions are very, very critical. And if you don't answer these 5 questions, you will never be fulfilled. Religion does not answer these 5 questions, and that's also why it is such a critical issue to talk about tonight. What are these 5 questions? I assume you want to know by now. Well, they are so simple, but yet they are profound, because they can be very, very unassuming. You believe you know the answers until I expose your ignorance. What are these 5 questions of the human heart? Well, here they are. Number 1, who am I? The average person sitting next to you do not know who they are. Guaranteed. That's why we wear other people's names. That's why we imitate people, cut our hairs like other people. We want to dress like people. We want to mimic people's behavior. We are constantly trying to find ourselves, and we keep wearing other people. It's a tough question. It's the question of identity. It's a key question. The second question that you must answer to become fulfilled and have meaning in your life is, where am I from? This question has nothing to do with ethnicity. As a matter of fact, I guarantee that you are so mixed up that if you try to find out where you came from by going back into your ethnic experience, you would get lost. So this question has nothing to do with your ethnic background, and yet you must know where you came from. Of course, some of those who claim to be intelligent have suggested that you came from slime that came up on the bed of the river 6 million years ago and became a salamander that grew into a tadpole that became a sophisticated monkey and produced you. Now, that's not funny because you see, if you believe that's where you came from, no wonder why killing you is no problem. After all, you're just a sophisticated chimpanzee. That's why evolutionary theories are dangerous, because they reduce the value of human life. Where are you from? Depends on what you believe. It's an important question. Third question you must answer to become successful in life and to be effective is, why am I here? This is a tough question. The person sitting behind you right now, they are quietly struggling with that question. Why am I on this earth? Why did I come to this planet? For what reason am I put on this earth for? What am I doing here? What am I supposed to do with my life? Am I just born to kind of get a job and pay bills and make a living and then die? Am I born just to keep a mortgage going? Why am I here? It's a tough question. And if you don't answer it, your life will become aimless, useless, busy, without effect. The fourth question you must answer to become successful in life is, what can I do? And I guarantee you again that 90% of you in this room are living far below your true ability. As a matter of fact, what you are proud of, God's ashamed of. You know, and I know, scientifically they've proven that we only use 10% of our brain power. Well, that means to become a genius, all you got to use is 11%. What is your true ability? What a question. What can you really do? And the last question, that's the source of most of our frustration, is, where am I going? Again, 99% of the Earth's population are moving fast every Monday morning, getting stuck in traffic, going to a place they hate, to do something they don't want to do, to get paid far less than they're worth. And they do it till they're 65, and then the company fires them. They call it retirement. Give them a clock and a rocking chair so they can watch their lives tick away again in a rocking chair and die. And that's basically what people's destiny is. Their destiny is retirement. What a lousy life you live. Where are you going with your life? Tough question. And the problem is, these 5 questions plague all of us. We don't talk about them publicly because we want people to believe we have the answers. We don't discuss it too often because we're afraid that we cannot answer them. And yet, life is made up of these 5 questions. In the book of the 8th chapter of John, as a matter of fact, Jesus Christ, the greatest leader of all time, made a statement in that chapter. He said to the people, I am the light of the world. There was an immediate reaction to his claim. Again, you know, the words I am always bring reaction. Because you see, you're not supposed to know who you are. Society doesn't allow that. So when you claim to know who you are, society reacts. And the scriptures say that the reaction came from the Pharisees and scribes, religious leaders, and they said, how dare you claim to be without having validation from us? They said, how did you claim to be something and we didn't validate you? They told him that your claim is not valid because we did not agree with your claim. We didn't tell you who you was. And his answer is incredible. He said to them, you don't know who I am. He says, but I know who I am, I know where I came from, and I know where I'm going. You should read that verse sometime. Powerful. In other words, he said, the reason why I am so effective is because I've answered the 5 questions. I don't need your validation because I know who I am, I know where I came from. I know what I'm capable of doing. I know why I'm here, and I know where I'm going. He says that's the key to me being free from you. And that's what made my life what it is. I have been delivered from the human race, so I can actually help them. You cannot help people who you are imprisoned by. If you need validation by people, you can never help them. And the only way to be free from them is these 5 questions. You have to know and discover somehow who you are. And part of our work over the years to help people do that, I have a seminar that I do. It's simply called Self-Discovery. And I take you through 5 hours of this. At the end of it, people scream. I mean, they can't believe that they were so far away from who they were. And then I give them an assignment where they got to answer these 10 questions. And when you answer the 10 questions by yourself privately, the result is you discover who you are. Once you discover who you are, then the process begins, because you begin to discover where you came from, what you are capable of doing. You discover your purpose for being on earth, and therefore you end up with a clear destiny for your life. Suddenly discipline takes over, and freedom is experienced. That's what a leader is all about. A leader is a free person. That's why they can lead you. Most of the people you call leaders are not true leaders. They are simply professional manipulators. We're going to talk about that in a minute, what that means. It's very serious. All right. So these 5 questions are the key to life, and the results of these questions would be self-discovery. If you get the answers to these questions, you would discover the truth about yourself, which is the entire purpose for your life, is to discover yourself. When you discover yourself, your belief system changes. That is manifested in an attitude that distinguishes you from everybody else. And that's how leadership is born. This produces what I call self-awareness. I am very aware of myself. See, a leader is someone who discovers themselves, not only their strengths, but they also discover their weaknesses. And it's important to know your weakness so you know who to hire. It's important for a person to know their weaknesses, because they can now protect themselves from it. And self-awareness does that. Very important. All right. Let's talk then about the heart of leadership. True leadership is not a method, a technique, or a science. It's an attitude. I'm going to work on you a little bit tonight. Are you ready? Yeah. I'll work on your mind a little, okay? Get ready to get excited. Tell your neighbor, if you knew who I really was, you would take me for lunch tomorrow. Because your neighbors still don't know who they're sitting next to. You are awesome. If they only knew what was in you, they'd respect you more. That includes your spouse. Your leadership attitude comes alive when you become aware of your true nature. You discover yourself. That's when it happens. And therefore, the beliefs and convictions of a leader is what regulates their behavior. That's what makes them unique. Their belief system. What I believe about myself is what makes me so confident, so self-assured. It's what makes me so effective with living anywhere in the world, being with anybody. I remember sitting down in the palace in Israel talking to the president, Hyman Herzog, some years ago, And we were chatting, and all of a sudden he stopped, and he said, there's something about you that is different. I said, what do you mean, sir? Your Excellency? He said, you know, I don't know. You seem to be just so in touch with yourself. Your confidence is intimidating. Here was the president. He's actually the king, was the king, in the position of a king. He's not the prime minister, but the president of Israel. And he said, how did you get like this? I thought for a minute, because I never had anyone ask me that question. And I said, I discovered myself. He said, someday you got to teach me that. And he was the president. Titles don't make you a leader. Attitude does. And attitude is a product of what? Belief. I heard that music. The source of belief is your perception of truth. This is a very important statement. If belief produces your attitude, then you have to find out where belief comes from. Belief is a result of your perception of truth. In other words, you believe what you believe to be true. And what you believe to be true may be a lie. But that's your belief, therefore it becomes the foundation of your attitude. That's why it's important to know what truth is. Jesus Christ, the greatest leader of all times, made a statement about truth. I want you to learn this lesson. Don't ever forget it. He said, no one can set you free. We keep trying to get people to set us free. And he told us that's impossible. He said the only way for you to be free from oppressive culture, misconception, misunderstanding about yourself, about the opinions of others, the only way to be free from all that stuff, he says, is you have to know the truth. In other words, freedom is a result of something you know, not something you do. So freedom is knowledge-based, son. It's not activity-based. You shall know the truth, and the truth, not the people around you, not some great deliverer, the truth. He didn't say knowledge will. He said the truth. You can have a degree in foolishness. And most people do. You go to college and learn stuff that ain't true and get a degree in it. So you're still imprisoned by the very society that gave you the degree. Education does not set you free. As a matter of fact, most education secures your bondage because society's curriculum is designed to make you behave. You get it after I'm gone. Your education was written by the very society that told you to fit in, not stand out. So they educate you to behave, not to make a difference. But the truth sets you free from that. I was delivered from education. I was delivered from society and delivered from the educational process. I had to be delivered because if you're not free from it, you become a victim of it. You behave. What's the source of truth? Here's the secret, the answer I'm giving you right now. Write this down. Truth is original information. This is a very important definition. The average pastor that I've spoken with, I always give them a test. I say, what is truth to you? And they give me this philosophical, deep revelation answer that makes no sense. They say things like, God is truth. But how do I apply that? Jesus is truth. How do I apply that? That doesn't make sense to me. How can that statement set me free? I don't know what you mean by that. That's not practical. And so I had to do my research for years. And this is an amazing discovery. Truth is original information, which means everything else is an opinion, a suggestion, or a perspective. That's why you can't trust anything else except the original information. That's why only manufacturers write manuals. Oh, you're slow. Okay, let me try it again. See, no one knows the product like the manufacturer. That's why manufacturers don't allow the retailers to write the manuals. And they don't allow the customers to write the manuals. Why? Because they only have opinions. So the truth about you can never be told by any human, because they are not your manufacturer. That's why the Constitution of our country, which is heaven, states this in section Galatians subsection 3, article 5. Here's what it says. Let the manufacturer be true and every customer a liar. Okay, let me try it. For your religious people, let me quote it the way you know it. He says, let God be true and every man a liar. That means don't trust any human's opinion of you. They don't know you. They didn't create you. And right now, most of you are trapped by some human's opinion that was spoken years ago. Some of you are still carrying your high school's teacher's opinion, and you are 50 years old. They told you you are not artistic, so you are afraid to draw. Stuck by an opinion. So, I don't trust anybody. Nobody. I don't trust your opinion of me. Don't trust you at all. Why? You are a customer. Only the manufacturer knows the truth about his product. That's why in that same verse of John 8, he says, so if the Son sets you free, who's the Son? The manufacturer. All things were made by him. So he knows his products. He said, if I tell you something, that's the truth. And that sets you free from all the opinions. This is why humanity needs God, because he can never know himself apart from the manufacturer. It's not about a religion. It's about reconnecting to your manufacturer. Amen, baby. I got one amen. At least someone's listening to me back there. So, truth is what? Original information. And only the manufacturer has it. And that's why he is called the God of truth. Set you free. Okay, let's read his original information about you. Let's read it real quick. We'll be talking about leadership, aren't we? Okay. Here's his first statement concerning you as a manufacturer. My favorite verse in the Bible next to Proverbs 19:21 is this one. And that is Genesis 1:26. This is the manufacturer speaking, okay? Listen carefully. He says, let us produce a product and call it man. Let's design it right after our own nature and our own functioning capacity. And let this product exist for the purpose of dominion or rulership over a planet that we will colonize. And this product will not rule one another. They will rule fish and birds and cattle and creeps. And so the manufacturer produced this product. Now, what I want you to see in this statement at the moment, because there are 1,000 things I can show you, but the one I want you to see is the one that says rulership, rule. He tells us why he created the species called man, which was to rule or to have dominion. Because what I did was I did some research for you in the Hebrew language and discovered what the word dominion means. It's the same word as kingdom. It's the word mamlakak. Mamlakak in Hebrew, and it means kingdom or sovereign rule. Matter of fact, here's what the word renders in the Hebrew. Write this down. First, it means to govern. It means to rule. It means to control. It means to have mastery over, to master something. It means to have leadership over. So he designed the species for the purpose of all this list. You were designed to govern, to rule, to control, to master, and to lead the environment and the products on planet Earth. You, I'm talking to you. You were designed to be a ruler, a governor, a master, a controller, and a leader over everything on the earth. Now, this is important because this is where leadership gets its validity. By the way, let me say this. He did not say, let us make man in our own image, likeness, and let some of them who are unique and elite rule the others. Because that is Greek philosophy. All of our discrimination and racism is a product of Greek philosophy. And Greek philosophy was the philosophy that ruled the Romans, under which Jesus was born. And Jesus said, it shall not be so among you. So if you suffer from racism and prejudice and segregative thinking, you are not biblical, you are Greek in your philosophy. You need deliverance. You are sick. Now, normally when I make this statement, people get confused. Statement that goes like this. Every human being was born to be a leader. When I make that statement, what happens in your mind, I know it does, is, well, if everybody is a leader, who's going to follow? Right. That's a sign that you are ignorant still. You are in the right seminar. You need help. Because you've been taught by the Greeks under the Roman influence, which controls your government today, that in order to be a leader, you need followers. And I've come to contradict that. Because according to that statement, everyone was given the same command, which means everybody is a governor, a ruler, a controller, a master, and a leader. By the way, I discovered that the world is ran by dead people. It is. Dead people rule the world. Plato, Socrates, Aristotle are running Australia from their graves. It was Plato who invented the idea of, here's a Greek word, demokrata. It's not biblical. It's Greek. Democracy does not come from the Bible. The Bible is anti-democracy. The Bible is kingdom. Christ is not a president. He's a king. You can't vote him in and vote him out. Oh, don't get me started on kingdom. You won't have a problem anymore. So dead men are ruling the world, and that's what's corrupting our whole generation. It was the Greeks who believed the philosophy that leadership is only relegated to a privileged few who have unique traits. Matter of fact, it was the Greeks who invented the idea of leadership is a matter of trait uniqueness. In other words, you were born with certain traits that made you better than everybody else. It's a Greek concept. That's where the Aryan race got its whole philosophy. It's Greek. The Romans adopted it and spread it over all the world, which became Europe. Europe today is simply disintegrated Rome. The philosophy still exists. It's in Australia. That's why you worship your politicians. You think they are better. Somehow in your mind, you get this psyche problem where you think once a person is a politician, they must be smarter than everybody else. They're the dumbest people I've ever met. If they were smart, there'd be no poverty and corruption and all the junk we have today. But you see, we have this idea. It's Greek philosophy. This philosophy is completely different. It's opposite to it. This philosophy teaches that everybody is a leader. Male and female. Oh my God. Oh my God. That destroys everything now. I like what it says in the next verse, verse 27. It says, and the Lord God blessed them and said unto them, male and female, have dominion. A woman does not need your permission to be a leader. I've met some men who got problems with women in leadership, especially in the church. It's weird guys. And so I asked them at a conference one time in Colorado, all these thousands of pastors there, and I'm doing a seminar. And I said, look, if you got a problem with women in leadership in the church and all that other stuff, I said, explain this to me, and then maybe I'll agree with you. Why did Jesus leave the earth in the hands of a woman? The church is a woman. Look at you pastors, man. Listen, he gonna marry her, the Bible says, and he's a man. You know why he left the church in the hands of a woman? Because women get things done. Come on, clap with me, ladies. Come on, help me out here. Give me a little help, ladies. Come on, help me, help me. Okay, men, don't worry. I'm on your side. I promise I'm on your side. I'm just trying to get you balanced again. Both of them are governors, rulers, masters, and leaders. Now, here's the point I want to make right now, though. You were born to lead in an area of gifting, not to lead people. And this is where we break off from the Greek philosophy. He told them that they would be rulers, masters, controllers, and leaders, but not of people. Therefore, I'll write this down, you were designed to lead from the beginning. Now I want to show you how this works, okay? And you got to go with me here. You were designed to lead. This is what I call manufacturer's principle. It's the manufacturer's principle. Let me give you a little glimpse of how it works, all right? I want to write this down. Call it the principle of creation. Whenever a manufacturer creates a product, he applies this principle. God is the ultimate manufacturer. He's the greatest one of all because he created all things. And his principles are the same as any manufacturer. Let me show you how it works. Number one, whatever God calls for, he provides for. Say that with me. Whatever God calls for, he provides for. That's a very important principle. Because that's one of the keys to get you to self-discovery. I'm working on your mind now. Watch this. See, if you understand this principle, you begin to connect with yourself and be free from other people's opinions. This principle, you got to understand this one. Whatever a manufacturer produces, he has to put in it what he expects the product to perform. It's very important. So look at number two. Whatever God demands, he supplies. No manufacturer will demand from a product what he didn't build into it. That's why your car right now in the car park, if you go to your car and check, you'll see the speedometer. The speedometer says 160 miles per hour. Now, they didn't ask your permission to put that there. And they don't care whether you believe it or not. And yet they challenge you to demand from this car's engine 150 miles per hour. They challenge you. They say, try it. Why? Because they have already built it in. You buy a brand new CD player from the store. You look at the box, and the box says, this product shall play CDs, music, audio. They tell you before you open it. In other words, you can demand from this equipment CD production play. Why? They built it in. So they say demand it from it. A manufacturer will never demand from a product what he didn't supply already. Number three, whatever God expects, he injects. God says, look, I want to create a creature and call it man. And this creature will be a leader, a controller, a master, a governor. God, therefore, had to build into you. He had to inject into you the capacity to do what he is demanding from you. That is why leadership is not something you learn. Listen, you don't teach birds to fly. God created birds to fly, so birds never attend flight school. Why? Flight is built in because that's what God's going to demand from that creature. Fish were created by God to swim. Fish will never attend swimming schools. They swim in schools, but they don't attend swimming schools. Why? Swim is built in to the fish because that's what God's going to demand. Seeds were created to produce trees. You will never find a seed attending a tree growing convention. Why? Because the tree is built into the seed. And everything God, you could try everything around. Whatever God created, he put in the thing what he is demanding from it. And if God says you are a dominator, a ruler, a leader, a master, then it's built in. Shout yes. Give yourself a hand, you great leader. This is called self-discovery. Your fear of achievement and success is a result of external training. You've believed your culture, so your attitude has manifested your belief. That's why you need the truth now, because the truth will set you free. Gosh, you mean I actually have what it takes to fulfill my dream? Listen to me. When I come back, I'm going to do a seminar with you. Oh, it will blow your mind. I'm going to show you the secret to being free forever. I'll give you a hint. It's a principle found in Genesis 1 verse 11. It says, God says, I put the seed of everything in itself. Important principle. That means whatever something is created to become, he said he hid it in the thing. So in every cow, God hid a herd. In every fish, God hid a school. In every bird, God hid a flock. In every boy, God hid a man. In every girl, God hid a great woman. He hides things, but he hides it in the thing. That means that your future is not ahead of you. Get it? The future of a seed is not in the soil. That's why when you get this revelation, it doesn't matter where they put you. Yeah. That's the power you're sitting on. Buried under ignorance and improper culturing. Now, Jesus made a statement that we still don't understand. He said, whatever you believe, be it unto you. He didn't say whatever is around you, the economy, the difficulties, the laws of the country, limitations on corporations, and He said, no. He says, whatever you believe, be it unto you. Your belief system. He says, if thou canst believe something, then anything is possible. It's attitude. I was talking to Joe this morning at breakfast. And I said, I noticed that you all don't have a lot of freedom on television to promote the good news. And he said, yeah, there are restrictions and, there's a culture. That stuff don't mean nothing to me. It has to do with you, what you believe. You could bring the elephant down. Come on, say something to me. If you believe it won't change, it can't change. Leaders don't submit to history. They make it. Well, historically, Australians, what? Forget history. Let's make history. Now shout like you believe it. In my country, we had the same problem. When I finished college, I went home in 1980 from the United States, my college degrees. And my wife and I and our 7 friends, 5 friends actually, we started a prayer group. It's a Bible study in my apartment. That's how we started. And we grew. We used to meet in a hotel, just like this. We had to set up equipment every week. Men on Friday nights. Place was packed. And then the Lord spoke to me. He said, I want you to go on radio. I said, okay. I went and I applied for access to radio. And they said, no religious broadcasting of any programs during the day. We have broadcasting from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning for religious people. So I said to them, look, I'm not a religious man. I incorporated our organization not as a church, but as a nonprofit business, a company. So I said, I'm not a religious man. I have a product. I want to sell it, and my market is not around at 5 a.m. They said, we cannot do this. I said, then I will take you to court. So I went to my lawyer, and I'm going to take the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas to court because they are restricting a citizen from his rights to sell a product to his market at the time he chooses to, like any other company. I'm telling you facts now. So the lawyer sent a note to the chairman of the board of Broadcasting Corporation. He called me in. He said, look, we can't do this. I said, anything can be done if it's legal, and it's legal. I'm a legal company. You're a legal provider. I have a product. You want to restrict me? Let's go to court. I will win the case. He said, well, I got to talk to the Minister of Education and Minister of Communications. I said, oh, no problem. Talk to him. Talk to whoever you want to talk to. He called the minister. The minister said, you know the law. I said, let me talk to the minister. I said, sir, I know the law. And the law says that as a citizen, I have rights to protect my rights. You are there to protect my rights. I have a right to sell my product to a market that I choose. I am legal. I'm a qualified company, legal company. Your government actually signed the papers to make me legal. I have a product. Let's go to court. I'll take the government to court. He said, you don't need to become upset. And he said, I'll have to take this to the cabinet. So he took it to cabinet. And the prime minister called me. He said, you're causing problems. I said, I ain't got no problems. And they had to change the law of broadcasting. We were the first ones in the history of the country to have our programs on during the week, high traffic time. Remember that. After about a year, I told my wife, the Lord said, go on television. We had just started television in the Bahamas, and I went to the guy. I said, look, you want to come on television? We want to come on Saturday, high viewership time. They said, look, no religious broadcasting on television. I said, okay, I'm not a religious man. And the rest is history. They went back to cabinet. My name was all through the government. And they said, we hate him, but we can't stop him. It's legal. We were the first ones to be on television, prime time, secular time, in the middle of the market. Tell your neighbor, it's our time. Say it like you believe it in faith. You have rights. So we break the barrier. Instead of succumbing to history, we made history.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Number 4, whatever God requires, he reserves. God says, look, I want you to be a dominator, a ruler, a leader, a master. So I'll put on reserve the capacity to be it inside of you. Number 5, whatever God established as a purpose, that determines potential. Now this point is very important. All the books on the table out there that have the word potential on them, buy them, okay? You will understand what I mean. Your life will never be the same. If you read those books on potential there, I guarantee you when I see you again, you'll write me an email or something, you'll say, Doc, I've changed. Because potential is the key to freedom. Purpose determines potential. In other words, whatever is the purpose for the product, that dictates the potential of the product. For example, the bulldozer that you see in your country that's moving tons of earth every day. The Caterpillar or whatever company made that, the purpose was to create a product that would be able to lift tons of earth and rock without falling apart, and to take it from one location to another. That was the purpose for the product. So they designed the product, and they couldn't make it, notice, out of plastic. Why? Because the purpose dictates the material that's used and the durability of it. The purpose also controls the engine, the power of the engine, the ability. In other words, the purpose determines the design and the capacity. So, you can always tell your ability by your responsibility. This is too important. This is too important. Listen. When you buy a bulldozer, you don't worry about its ability. Do you? No. You go toward the rock and you pick it up. Why? Because they claim that's what it's for. So you automatically believe that the potential is in this equipment to fulfill its purpose. God is no different. So that if you want to know, it's question number 3 now. It's question number 4 on the 5 list. List of 5. Question number 4 says, what can I do? I give you the answer now. Once you discover what you were born to do, you have automatically discovered what you are able to do. That's why leadership begins with self-discovery. Your ability is equal to your responsibility, because you possess what you were born to become. When I leave this city in a few hours, may that statement haunt you. You possess whatever you need to become what you were born to be. Birds don't look for flight. It's built in. Fish don't try to find swim. It's built in. God will never demand from you what he didn't inject in you. So your ability is equal to your responsibility. And that's the heart of leadership. That's why a leader has so much confidence. The courage of a leader is a product of this revelation.
Yeah. You're right.
Oh, I wish I had 2 more sessions. I could show you something. Ooh, I'll show you something. But here's a hint. This is free. You didn't pay for this, all right? God will not allow you to dream what you cannot produce. Do you know what you were born to do, sir? Madam? You were born to do whatever you cannot get rid of in your mind. Hallelujah. I feel the anointing. It just came. The reason why you are bored with what you've done already is because that's not the true you yet. That's why I tell people the greatest enemy of progress is your last success.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
What threatens your future is the past you are proud of. And that is why God is not interested in what you've done. It's boring to him. Why? Because potential is never what you've done. Because once you've done it, it ceases to be your potential. And that's why your dreams are bigger than your accomplishments. It's the principle of creation. So, how do you become all you were born to be? It's going to be sweet. Ready? It begins with the value of you. You are so valuable that if you discovered your value, you would treat yourself better. Very valuable. All right, here's an important statement. Number 1, you were born to solve a problem. Everything that God created performs a function. Whether it's a bird, a cow, a maggot, a mosquito, a lizard. As a matter of fact, scientists have finally caught up with God a little bit. They call it ecology. Ecology is simply man discovering the truth that everything performs a function. So they say, please don't pollute the rivers because the rivers provide a function. Don't pollute the air because the air provides a function. Don't kill that animal, it provides a function. And so they will fine you for disturbing functions. They'll take you to court. Because everything God created solves a problem. And if a lizard solves a problem and a mosquito solves a problem, then you are much more valuable, Jesus says, than these. You came to earth to solve a problem. And that's why you're valuable. Number 2, you are God's response to a need he created. You didn't come to earth just to pay bills, make a living, and die. God's too sophisticated for that. You were created by God because he knew there would be a need in the 21st century that required your existence. And that leads to number 3. You are the answer to a question that God knew would be asked in this generation. What I'm dealing with now is your significance. See, a leader has to become aware that she is not a biological accident. He must wake up to the truth that he's not just here to breathe oxygen and eat food and work on a job. That's not why you came to earth. You came here because God knew there would need to be an answer to a question on the earth. So he produced you. That's why I'm here today. I'm here to answer the question of leadership around the world. Number 4, you are the fulfillment of one of God's desires. There's something God desired that made you necessary. There's something that God wanted to accomplish that made you a requirement. God allowed you to be conceived because you are an important part of his project. That's why deep in you there's a quiet scream to be great. And that scream is legitimate. That's why you hate your job. You hate Monday mornings because where you go does not tap into your gift. That's why your job is not your work. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. So the Lord will always give you jobs to prepare you for your work, but never confuse your job with your work. There's no fulfillment in your job. It's only in your work. That's why true leaders have no jobs. Their life is their career. That's why you can't fire a true leader, because he ain't working for you. She's not working for you. And believe me, you are never free as long as they can fire you. Number 5, you are an assignment your generation needs to experience. Isn't that beautiful? You came to earth because we are supposed to experience you. We're waiting for you to manifest so we could enjoy you. But you trapped under your bad opinions, your culture, and your job that you hate. What I'm doing up here right now is not a job. This is so much fun. This is like a bird flying, like a fish swimming. This is so natural. I get energy from this. See, when you're doing what you're not supposed to do, it destroys your energy. It sucks it away. Birds get strength from flight. Fish get strength from swimming. That's why in the kingdom of God, there's no such thing as burnout. Don't you forget it. You are an assignment we're supposed to experience. Number 6, you are necessary. Listen, you are not a social security number. You are not a national welfare number. We need you. The world needs you. If the planet only knew what you were carrying, they would not ignore you. The problem is you don't know what you're carrying. That's why God sent me here today to give you a little revelation that you are loaded. Come on, clap your hands, all you loaded people. Loaded. Tell your neighbor, if you knew who I really was, you would shake my hands and congratulate me right now. Go ahead, do it right now. Congratulations for your greatness. Oh no, man. I'm just getting started. I want to do a little exercise. Can you help me here? We're going to repeat these. And we're going to repeat them in the first person. Are you ready? Number 1, I was born to solve a problem. Number 2, I am God's response to a need he created. Number 3, I am the answer to a question God knew would be asked in this generation. Number 4, I am the fulfillment of one of God's desires. Number 5, I am an assignment my generation needs to experience. And number 6, I am necessary. Woo! Don't you feel that? Hey! Necessary. Praise God. Don't you ever walk with your head down again. When you go to work tomorrow, I want you to kick open the door, walk inside, and say, good morning, everybody. Somebody necessary just arrived. Y'all better enjoy me while you got me, because I'm on my way somewhere else. Shout somebody. I feel some leaders coming alive inside here. Oh, I feel some lions waking up on the inside here. I see some elephants coming down. Woo! This is awesome. I feel something going on the inside. This is your night. Everything changes tonight. Sit down for 5 more minutes, quick. You are sitting next to greatness. Tell your neighbor, you are privileged to sit next to me. Come on, tell them right now. Tell your neighbor, I am adding value to you just by sitting next to you. Give him a high five. Just tell him, good to be sitting next to greatness. Absolutely true. My. I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts, and the first one is, what is the key to your success in life? I found out what it is. If you want to be successful, I'm going to give you the secret now. I call it the gift of leadership. If you want to be successful, you should never seek success. So what's the secret? Here it is. If you want to be successful, you don't seek success. What you do is you seek to become a person of value. Tiger Woods made himself valuable.